Welcome to Comic Talk, where everyone can come and indulge in all things comic related, whether it be movies, TV shows, cartoons, video games, or just comics themselves. If you love comic books, then show it by hitting that subscribe button to help this precious media that we all love thrive and flourish. Somewhere against the backdrop of the northern African desert, two mysterious figures line the light of the pyre against an ebon velvet night. The man is caped and cowed, both brooding and menacing. But the cloaked woman at his side does not fear his presence. In fact, truth be told, she relishes in it. For when she looks at him, she casts her eyes upon her lover, a man she both desires and respects. He, of course, is Batman, the world's greatest detective. And she is Talia Ghul, the offspring of the great and terrible Demon's Head, otherwise known as the Immortal One himself, Ra's al Ghul. On this auspicious night, both of them have traveled far from their home to meet on this sacrament place. The matter that they discuss over is the life of her infirm father. He is dying once again, and she pleads with her lover to grant him another lave in the emerald broiling pit of immortality. The Stygian knight looks at her and then into the night sky. Her words are noble, and their tone is sweet to his ears. But in his heart of heart, he knows that he cannot. For Ra's is his greatest enemy, and the extinguishing of the pit means the extinguishment of his greatest foe, and the greatest threat mankind has ever faced. In an act of desperation, Talia clutches his broad, muscular shoulders and forces him to stare into her alluring eyes. And there, while temporarily under her spell, she presses her lips against his and finds his flesh warm to the touch. But it is not because of her embrace. Her lover is ill with fever. Done with her pleas, Bruce unmasks himself and declares a statement into the nearby shadows. What stands there swaddled in arid garments just beyond the pyre's light is not a shade from perdition, but a wizened, elderly man whose creases on his face does not accurately denote the lifespan of his age. With steady steps, Ra's comes into the light and pleads his opposer one final boon, to let him pass unobstructed to bathe in the pool's regenerating properties. With a furrowed brow, the Demon's Head gets his answer. And so it must be a final fight between respected enemies. For either way, one must die this night. Below the stars of this very land who witnesses mankind's birth, and so it must witness one of the death of its greatest sons. It always comes down to this, doesn't it? Despite of all man's bravado, of its intelligence and ingenuity, in the end, it comes down to raw, unadulterated violence. As if on cue, the sky starts to weep, and its arabesque clouds release their fury onto the two men, pelleting their face and bare chest. And then suddenly, as if to inaugurate their duel, lightning strikes the object of their quarrel. Hot, smoldering liquid spews into the air as the demon and the bat clash. With savagely they attack each other, even barreling into the fire. And their furrow rays, the flames do not affect them, as it scorches their hair and singes their flesh. The fight continues until, in an act of desperation, Ra's cheats and buffets his opponent with a metal spade. They are lying helpless. Bruce is sprawled out on the ground unconscious. Heaving in the desperate air, the demon lumbers over to its supine body. Finally, victory in his grasp. Heaving his weapon in both hands high above his head, Ra's strikes the pose, finally ready to rid himself of his greatest foe. And when, just then, A woman's scream is heard through the sounds of the storm, galvanizing him out of rage. How did it come to this? How did he become the beast that stands before his daughter, half naked, crazed, and savage, ready to kill for his cause, justifying his actions for the end result? He was once a physician, for goodness sake, a man dedicated to healing. In her eyes, he remembers who he once was. But is that enough to stop Race? Will he smite down the foe for good this time? To find out, you will have to read this story. But believe me, my friend, the answer? Well, the answer may surprise you. In this story, Birth of the Demon, you get a rare look in what I consider Batman's greatest foe. I know what you must be saying. Well, what about the Joker? Isn't he the Batman's greatest foe? He is the chaos to his order, his recklessness to Bat's strategicness. And I would say, you have a fair point there. But I believe Rage is so much more. The Joker thinks on a small scale, while Race looks at the big picture. I always looked at him as Thanos mixed with Poison Ivy, with the longevity of Vandal Savage. Race knows Batman's true identity, but out of respect, he keeps a secret. The man is a paradox. On one hand, he is calm, cool, and collect, demonstrating great intelligence, capable of showing great mercy at times. But on the other hand, he wants to wipe out half of the Earth's population to save the planet. He looks at mankind as a blight on nature, one that must be called to save itself from itself. And on the other hand, I see his point of view. I myself would argue that we as a species would have done more harm to this planet than we have ever done good. And it doesn't seem like we have the means of stopping ourselves either. But anyway, as always, I digress. I felt overall, Birth of the Demon really was a letdown. And so I give it a ranking at 3.0 out of 5. A good read. While it shows Ray's early years, I thought his discovery of the pitch was pretty dumb. I mean, the way he did, really for a dream. And he just so happened to have a parchment that knew the right amount of greenness to add to the pit that he didn't even know existed until then. Anyway, I thought the pits were natural offspring that were found for specific locations around the world. If they are natural, why is he adding chemicals in them to create the desired results? It doesn't make sense. At least in this story you get where the head of the demon name came from. But I was really hoping on learning how he created the League of Assassins. I feel that that would have been an awesome read. And why is he now such a die-hard conservationist, more concerned with the health of the planet than he is for mankind itself? It seems like a big leap from a dedicated physician to a worldwide murderer. The story, it leaves a lot of unanswered questions. Anyway, until next episode, please feel free to visit my YouTube channel Comment Talk for other videos like this one. Tap that bell icon before you go. Write in the comments what story arc you feel I should do next. And until next time, as always, keep reading, my friends.